Buddy. What are so many people in here already? I'm sorry I was a minute late. I had, as you can tell, my camera's a little off. I'm gonna try one. Well, it's not worth it. My camera was giving me some issues, so I was trying to get on separate. So you're getting a blurry version of me too, which is probably for the best. I'm I know you caught me last week coming off COVID, and I was feeling all right, but I'm feeling a little rough today. But we're gonna find full recovery mode. We're gonna get into it. How's everybody doing? What is there is like all kinds of stuff behind me. I apologize. Welcome everyone. If this is your first time here, my name is Laura DeVeiga. I am the Director of Agency Development at WorldVia Travel Network. And we do this every Thursday for free, whether you are part of my host agency or not, you are welcome here. Ellie is in the background today. If you are new here and haven't met Ellie before, this is she'll show up. She's my dog. She's employee of the month. I am in a cozy sweater. I think I have to be. This really just hit me a few hours ago. Thank you. I'm gonna you all know I have been sick on this before. I come full circle. I'll get there. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Sal. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Jennifer. I think I'm just getting one after another. It's gonna be okay. Right before back to school. Perfect timing, right? But if this is your first time, why I started all this is because I have been in the industry for 14 years. I have worked many different lives in those 14 years in the travel industry. Started as like an advisor, like many of you. And one thing that I saw out in the universe was that there just was not a space for personal and professional development that is focused at travel advisors. So WorldVia was lovely enough to let me create it, and that is incredibly exciting to me. So I get to do this every Thursday with y'all for free. I'm so happy to have you here. I wouldn't have this if y'all didn't show up each week. So thank you. I'm so incredibly grateful and thankful for your time and that you show up each week. But who's all in here tonight? How's everybody doing? What is your week been like? I hope everybody's having an excellent, busy, busy week. This week, I give it a couple minutes to get started. Also, if I'm a little loud, I'm sorry. My ears are still a little blocked too. I'm a mess. To say it lightly. I'm a mom mess though this week, right? I'm a mess, but I'm also like, I've got to do all the orientations. I got to get things going. We're getting ready for World at Worldview, which is incredibly exciting. Oh, I'm so glad you feel welcome, Jennifer. You should. Oh, back to school has been nuts, Sasha. I have, I'll give you a little backstory where like to give a couple minutes for everyone to get on just in case we're running a little behind. So I'll get started in just a moment. So bear with me. Um, I have two daughters. One is 14, one is 10. My 14-year-old is starting high school, but she's actually starting two high schools at once because she was accepted to a theater program, and those schools apparently don't talk. So we're trying to figure out where she needs to be and how she's going to get here and all the fun, exciting things. But we are figuring it out, and it's been very interesting. And one starts next week, and the other one starts 2 weeks after that. So we're trying to navigate and figure out how she's getting to the places while I travel the world because I'm very lucky to do so. But um, we're not getting COVID at World Robin. It's gonna be circled out of all of us by then. I'm convinced of it. It is crazy. I have seen a lot of people with it, but I'm not too worried about it. So, and it's Texas. It's gonna be warm. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be great. So. Tonight, we are getting into groups. Last week we did luxury. Now, this is truly if you haven't taken the road down groups yet. If you are a tried and true groups person currently, thank you for coming. I could use your input throughout this. I think there you might catch some things that you might be helpful. Thank you. That's Ellie. She's employee of the month. And she's hopping around. I don't know what she's doing. Usually Sal knows. Sal always comments on her. She's just sitting right that seat. That's her napkin that she brought up there. I thought she would stay. She did not, and now my room just looks messy. So she will come back. But I think it's they left the door open for her. She's coming in and out. But so this is truly, if you are group scuba but interested in exploring group cruising as well, love that, Robin. So this is for people interested in getting more into groups, learning a bit more about groups, why this can be helpful. This is definitely on the scale of like experience level. If you're super experienced in groups, I don't know how much you'll take from this. You might take little things 'cause I believe there's something to take on everything. But it's more gauged at the either newer to groups or just learning about groups. this evening because I just want to like because that. But again, I want to be very clear. If you're an experienced advisor and aren't doing groups, this is for you. That's where I kind of wanted to get to with that intro. So it's groups is an incredible thing, and once I got a taste of it, I couldn't get enough of it. A little bit about how I started in groups, a little bit about my background in travel too. So when I started as an advisor, I was just taking anything you would give me, because I work in a low income, well, I live in a low income area. So a lot of people, they were traveling maybe once every 2 years, some every 5 years. So, I was trying to get anything that was going to work out and work in my favor. Oh, I think she's upset about the napkin she put there, guys. Sorry. Um, so I got into whatever I could sell, and for me, it was all about what I could sell efficiently and what would made the most of my time. I talk about profit drivers a lot. Oh, and actually, let me do something really quick while I'm talking. If this is your first time here, thank you so much. We have a Facebook group. I'm going to put it into the chat. That's how you can know where old episodes are and new episodes are going to be. I am humoring something for next week. We'll talk about it at the end. I want to get your thoughts on it, and there's a good amount in here tonight, so I'd love everyone's feedback. I'm going to quickly just share the Facebook group. So if you are not in it, you can see when episodes are coming up and what the topics are, so you can join us. So when I got into and why I mentioned that is because in past episodes you'll hear me talk about profit drivers a ton. So profit drivers are really important to me, that you're evaluating what's bringing in your money and how to most like be more beneficial of your time and your space. And you do that by looking at what you're currently selling and what you've currently sold and how much that you made on those trips, and then evaluating the time that went into it. So seeing that it makes sense to be booking those things. Because if you are just churning and churning and churning and doing a whole heck of a lot of work, but only making minimal commission, that is not a good profit driver for you. It's not the space you should be spending your time. So when I was looking at my profit drivers, I knew that I wanted to be selling like not like full luxury, but luxury leaning, and more, I shouldn't say even like luxury leaning. It was more well affluent travelers to the Caribbean and Mexico, and cruising and a little bit of Hawaii. That was where I was tending to sell a lot of. And in that space, I started to lean into some destination weddings. And once I got a taste of a destination wedding, whoo, it was hard to pull me away from it. Now, I never went down to it in really extensive groups. Yeah, luxury leading term is a great way to put it, right? Um, but I think more affluent travelers is probably the way to word that. Now, I never ended up getting into the space because by that time I had transitioned into a more managerial role and leadership role, where my whole book was groups, but I had some groups that did start to repeat themselves, and then they led into other groups, and it was a really lovely thing because once you get into groups, it's not necessarily less work, it's more concentrated work with a much bigger payoff. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. If I have to sip a lot of water, I apologize. No one will be surprised if you're here. If you've been with me a year, guys, we're in this over a year of doing this every week, or every week I can get in here, which is, I'm just, again, so insanely grateful for all of y'all that show up each week, because I started it and didn't know if anybody would show, and so many of you show up each week. I'm so thankful. So, but it's Halloween season, and for those of you that have been here through the whole run, we're going to start to lean in that direction for me, because if Starbucks can do it today, so can I. So, so what we're going to talk about, let me pull the presentation up. I'm going to try something different tonight, guys. What I'm going to do, thank you, Michelle. When will we have purple hair again? Kim, I'm gonna give you a little secret. I don't know if I'm gonna do purple this year. I think I'm gonna do pink. You're welcome. Summerween is a thing, Megan. I agree. I'm going to try something different where I'm more the focus. You're not going to see a ton of the words on the screen. Don't let that stress you out. I will send you the presentation. Also, there are 3 of you last week that asked for the presentation. It didn't get lost on me. We had a crazy week in office, and so I'll get it out to you by the weekend for last week's presentation. But I am going to try and share so that you can see a little bit more of me chatting this time. And don't worry if you can't see the presentation, I will get that to you. Oh, I like this version. Do I like, let's try this. Let's see how this works. Tell me what you guys think of this version when it pops up, if it works the way I want it to. Oh, it's doing the weird thing with the background, isn't it? Why does it do that? How do we feel about that? Is it weird? I don't know. It feels kind of weird. It feels like I'm kind of in a spooky movie. It doesn't look as creepy as the one time. Remember, it took away my face, but it is taking away my sweatshirt in a weird way. Can you see the presentation at all? Is it worth it this way? Oh, did it even share? Oh my goodness, I am derailing. No, it says I'm sharing my screen. You can see. Okay, we're going with it. We're okay with it. We're rolling with it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm getting all the yeses now. There must have been a delay. This looks good. Beautiful. Then we're getting in with it. So let's talk about scaling your agency. Turn one, I loved this line, so I'm rolling with it. Turn one booking into a pipeline of future business because that is the beautiful thing about a group. Um, to obtain a group, sometimes that takes a lot of legwork. I do not want to pretend with you that groups are just going to come knocking on your door or come running into your Facebook group. I'm blocking the slide, but it may just be on your mobile. Let me know if you're not on mobile if I'm blocking the slide. It might be mobile. And I'll send you the presentation. Laura at worldvia.com. I can send it after. So lost my trip. Just the bottom corner. Okay. I don't think I'll be missing too much. A little on the corner. Okay. I'm not too worried about it. I'll send it to everybody if I need to. Cool. So they're not always just going to come running right to you, right? There is a little bit of work to get some groups if you don't already have a group book of business. There's a little bit of venturing you're going to want to do to start to get into the right places, to talk to the right people, to know the right spaces, to be asking for this kind of business. Know that. Destination wedding is a little bit different, right? Different groups come from different spaces, but once you have them, they are the definition of, okay, and for those of you that if you've been here in prior weeks, tell me if you remember when I talk about four walls marketing. And four walls marketing is a way to market your business without spending a dime and without an ounce of effort, which is that your service is so good that the individuals that you send on a trip, they are going to go to their next party, their next event, their next this, their next that, and they're going to say, I've got a girl, I've got a guy that can do this, I've got the person to do this. And that starts a snowball to have you continue to building your book of business, right? So that's the ultimate goal. And what's lovely about that is, again, cost you nothing, cost you no time other than the time you already put into the trip. There's an entire business structure. It's a restaurant company that I used to work for. That's how they built their entire business. And at the time, they were one of the highest growing businesses in the country. You can do that yourself through a group because even if your group is 5 people to start, 5 isn't necessarily a group. Let's be real. Let's talk in real group terms. Sorry, I shouldn't have dumbed that down. On paper, a group is respectfully 10 people. Now, there's going to be some wiggle room in there depending on the supplier, depending on the situation, but we're going to say 10 people and I have a very specific reason for that for our experiment today, okay? Reason behind that is in order to book 10 airline tickets together, that's considered a group reservation. Okay, that's fair game. So that I think that's a fair rule for us to start. And if you have 10 individuals in a booking, you may not have brought in all those 10 individuals yourself. Odds are you met one person, you got to know a person, they found out about you, you start booking for them. And then they tell their friends, hey, I met this person. I want to start booking a group with them. Go them, give you your deposit, start having conversations. We're going to get this ball rolling, right? Or say if you get like an affinity group, say you've like, you're bringing a group from a golf course. You might know only the one individual that gave you a phone call, right? Those other individuals are coming along, but you're going to provide the service that everybody on this group is going to go, wow, this was an incredible trip. This was, I was so thankful for all the work that this individual did for us that they're going to tell their friends. And when they're ready to book their group, that's going to grow. And those 40 people now, which was if you were booking one booking, they would tell maybe 1 or 5 people that they know that they had a great experience. When you have 40 people telling 1 or 5 people, you're now getting 40 to 200 people hearing what a great advisor you are, not just 4. So, but I'll get more into this in the slides as we go through. Come on, slide. There she goes. So why group travel? Well, let's just say it. Let's put it on the table. It's a higher revenue per booking. That is just the facts are in front of you. You're booking more rooms, you're booking more cabins, you're getting more money. That is just at the bare minimum, that's easy math, right? We can do that kind of math. Single group bookings often generate 5 to 10 times the revenue of individual trips. When you're talking about a profit driver, groups is your space for that specific reason. It is a repeatable, scalable model. What do I mean by that? Generally, groups like to travel with each other again. You may not get the entire group repeating, or now, I'll always asterisk, right? Destination wedding, probably not the same thing. But your groups of say if it's a fraternity group or it's a wellness group that know each other, or it's a women's empowerment group, it's a Lord of the Rings lover group, whatever it may be, they're generally going to be big friends in the group. They're going to travel with each other again, and that is repeatable. The destination might change a little bit. The cruise itinerary might change a little bit. The cruise line might change a little bit. But many of the goals of the group are going to be the same, and a lot of the travelers of the group are going to be the same. And so when we talk about repeat business that we've talked about in previous weeks, about how that's so much easier because you know them, knowing an entire group is going to make that a heck of a lot easier for you. And people that book large group trips, once they trust their travel advisor, that is a better relationship than a hairstylist, I dare say. And I say that because if you don't know, a standard relationship with a hairstylist is 8 years because there needs to be a trust level there. The trust level that needs to be involved when you're getting into 50 cabin bookings, 100 cabins, 300 rooms. They're trusting you with a lot of responsibility. And when you do that well, and let's be clear, problems will happen. With large groups, it is bound to happen. I'm not going to pretend like you're going to have a perfect trip. Oh, Jason, I love that you raised your hand. Do you, please ask away in the chat. Um, if you the larger your group gets, the more problems you'll have. That's not a problem that you have the problems. What is the goal is how you resolve them. That's the big thing, right? So knowing how to resolve them accurately and efficiently and handling it with a improper process is gonna give them a comfort level that they're not gonna be able to attain somewhere else, and they're going to come back to you. So good service is key for keeping group business. You accidentally raised your, that's okay. You don't have to apologize. I loved that you raised your hand. um, it's also built in marketing. This is that four wheels marketing I was talking about before. Satisfied groups are going to naturally generate word of mouth referrals. That's the four walls marketing. It's making a marketing machine for you. You don't have to market a ton on Facebook because they're doing it for you. They're telling their friends and family. And that's not even always necessarily for another group. That's just for their next trip. Maybe they did a group cruise to the Bahamas, but they need to go to Disney next year. They need to go to Europe next year. It's a graduation trip, whatever it may be. You're the person that helped them last. They're probably going to come back to you, right? Showcase your expertise. Demonstrate your training, your planning skills, destination knowledge, problem solving abilities. I will say this. There is a lot of things you can sell with not having a general understanding of what you're selling. I will say this because I did it for many years. I sold Hawaii for years before stepping on the island. Now, selling a group of 50 to 100 rooms without ever stepping into the destination, you're getting into dangerous territory. I'll talk about that later. I believe I have a slide about this, but the larger your groups start to get, I recommend a little bit of a pre-con trip. I also recommend you having some core knowledge of starting with these groups. I may have to hop off soon, get my son to bed. It's going to be recorded. And you can either email for the presentation, Jen, but if you added yourself to the Facebook group, it'll be in there tomorrow. Collect Globus and other suppliers are awesome with helping out with groups. Yes, and that supplier partners are huge with planning the right group, 100%, especially when you're first getting started. But having a loose knowledge of what you're selling is very helpful because groups are going to have all kinds of questions that you may or may not be prepared for. So having some knowledge is always helpful. But I will say if you are not familiar with the destination and you have a lot of people going and you can get yourself to the destination, I would recommend it. I will tell you that every large event we do on the WorldVia end, we do a pre-con trip. It's just what we do. It could just be a day in and out, but it's what we do. I have very good friends that are mainly group destination bookers. I have a friend of mine, he does a group of about 300. It's an an incentive trip for a company. He goes for a weekend pre that trip every year. That trip pays half his income for the year. So he goes and does a quick weekend to make sure everything's in order, and then that trip goes smoothly. Not always necessary, especially for smaller trips. You can't always do that on cruise lines, things like that. But when you can, it is always helpful. Um, and group travel isn't just about booking more, it's about maximizing the impact with every transaction. I think that's, or interaction. I think that's a really big piece. So you are not gonna be able to read the slide. I don't know what happened when I put it to big screen, but that was words got so small. So bear with me here. What I have here is that your clients are often part of communities. Lean into these connections, specialize and maximize your returns, right? Different groups that I've seen work really, really well. Golf groups. Getting to your local golf community or golf courses, or country clubs, seeing where they're looking for their travel, things like that. If, church groups, a lot of church groups are traveling. High schools, it's very big. I know there's a group. I don't know who she runs it through. I believe she's an advisor herself. She runs travel through our local high school twice a year. Large groups of students. That is a whole other road to go down. Wouldn't be enjoyable for me. But again, places with large groups, senior citizen areas, senior citizen groups that listen talk about what's big in groups too, especially depending on the kind of groups you're booking, especially when you're getting into the Globuses, the Colettes, those kind of suppliers. You want people with a little bit more income to spend around so they're comfortable spending. It's harder to do a full budget group trip, let's be real. You need people that are comfortable with understanding why things might cost a little more. They understand the value of what you're putting together for them. A lot of times groups are not great for budget trips because the more you buy of a space, especially if you're doing all on one flight, that doesn't make the flight more affordable. So people have to be understanding to that where to getting them all in one space sometimes isn't the best price on that trip. That is a misconception that happens in travel. People think pulling group space will get them the best price. It might get you the best price at that time for that way you're pulling, but depending on the type of trip you're pulling, it could be pulling from different space in different areas, especially when you're getting into airline tickets, sometimes even with cruise lines, where it is not the best price at that time. Now, cruise lines are great because they'll let you rebook for lower pricing, things like that, but it's not always necessarily a group discount rate. It's just a group rate. Now, some places that are great about discounted rates, all inclusives, or larger hotel properties and resorts, because they're going to give you a lower net rate. You can work in whatever you want the markup to be, and then that gets into a better space where it can be a little bit more competitive. But it's not always the most competitive rate at first go. And something that's important, I'm really going on a tangent, and I apologize. I probably have slides about this later. But when you're looking at different group options for your clients, is comparing that, because seeing what the all in is, because sometimes at first glance, it's like, oh, that looks more expensive. But if they're giving your clients more amenities and extras because they're a group, which is a tendency that will happen with a lot of group travel, they'll get a lot of extra little perks because of the size of their group. You want to go with that for them. Depending, say, if it's an all inclusive or a cruise, a lot of times, or even a lot of the tour operators, depending on how many bookings you have, you might get a free room or a free cabin or a Pied Piper rate, which is going to give the tour price complimentary. And then you, as their leader, have to choose, are you going to break that out to a discount off the whole trip to make it all more affordable for everyone going? Or is that going to be a perk for your group leader and let them go at the severely discounted rate? Is that going to be a perk for you? It can be. I'm not saying that's what you should or should not do, but it can be an option. So think about those things. I've tangented it a bit there, but I think that's important to remember. So again, it could be all different communities in different spaces. So don't think that, oh, I don't know any groups currently traveling. I don't know where to start. There's a lot of spaces to start. Think of large community areas, think of schools, think of anywhere where lots of groups are getting together. Another thing, class reunions. Are there classes still actively involved with? Yeah, I mentioned senior centers. It's a great one, Robin. Like I said, I'll throw one of our current WorldVia members. She and I think it's a great story. She takes her husband's fraternity group every single year, and that is getting into bigger, larger, beautiful river cruise trips that it started with maybe like 10, 15. I could be misquoting, but she's traveling right now. I can't even ask her to tell me. 10 to 15 maybe a group that have grown to now it's 40 some people in a group. And it's not even necessarily just the individuals from when he graduated with. Now it's just different members of the fraternity as it's getting bigger and bigger. So gotta think outside the box a little bit. Another big thing I know locally to me is bands. If you have small group bands with a big following, oh, that's a good one, Rachel. They will build out their fan group and they love to do group cruises together. We have countless group cruises attached to small local bands in my area. So just different things. And what Rachel said was military class groups, in case you're not watching the chat here. Also a great idea. So again, family reunions and milestone celebrations, of course, are huge for group trips. Family reunions are great because they generally happen yearly. Milestone celebrations are a little bit tougher because milestones aren't every year. But listen, I'm joking. I have a group of friends. We're doing a milestone trip this year. 4 out of our 6 of us are turning 40. But we had to do a trip last year when one turned 40. We had to do the one when the 4 of us are turning 40, and one is turning 40 the year after. So we've got years of trips planned just in that space. Carrie, I have a class reunion that will be turning 65. Okay, they're taking a cruise in November 2026. It's called Cruising Our Way to 65. I love that. That's so cute. Robin, any suggestions on who to book your group dive trips with? Jason, that's a great question. Hey, Robin, I've said that to you a few times. You have a very unique niche there. But there also are some great hotels in the Caribbean area that can appeal to divers. So private message you. There you go. Thanks, Robin. Um, but anyway, multi-generational travel is a great build. I put here with great with bolts and emotional significance. Of course, families are going to travel together. Affinity groups, like I said, churches, clubs, knitting clubs are huge groups right now. And it is not like your grandma's knitting clubs. It's women my age. I guess I'm getting up there, but it's women my age knitting groups. Just live their best lives, taking off whole wings of river cruise ships, just enjoying their time in their peace. It's a huge thing. Alumni associations, like I said, fraternities and with pre-existing relationships is really helpful. Destination weddings and corporate retreats. Now, how you start to pull in the destination wedding market. This took me months of me showing up to bridal expos with brochures, teaming with supplier partners that were great for weddings. At that time, it was Sandals, and they were AM Resorts at the time. They're now Hyatt inclusive. Those are partners that worked really well for me. AIC and Palace Resorts are excellent for that. They're great about sending brochures and things that you can take to these kind of events. I just hustled at bridal expos for a long time. And then I got one bride, and then I got 4 brides, and then I got 10 brides, right? Because word travels, generally people getting married around the same age of other people getting married. And that helps a lot in that space. The big difference with destination weddings, the repeatability is not there. What I did get with those is I got lifelong travelers. So I planned their destination wedding, and then I was planning their family travel, and then I was planning their first Disney trip and things like that, or their baby moon. So Lori, I was in a cruise one time and there were a senior ladies bunco club. Yes, that bunco's a huge thing. And I just want to say I have no idea how to play bunco. I wasn't once invited to a bunco party, but it ended up not happening. But it's like it's a dice game, am I correct? Those kind of things work really well. Any kind of card playing games. Mahjong is having a real resurgence with groups of, I will just say groups of specifically women, it seems like, that are getting together, playing it together, and it's very accessible on cruise ships. I can tell you on the Norwegian Aqua, when I was just there, we were like 3 tables away from this group of women that were playing Mahjong all night long. And every so often we just heard all the tiles hit the table. It was a very like sound that I will never forget. But that's a great place to start for groups. And then special interest groups, wellness retreats, culinary tours, sports fans. Listen, I am not an Eagles fan, but go Birds, because Eagles fans travel together. I know of multiple groups of Eagles fans that just go to the Dominican together. They go to Mexico together. They go on cruises together. They love those kind of groups. And wellness retreats is getting bigger and better. Especially you'll see a lot of yoga retreats. There's a lot of resorts that accommodate to different kind of wellness retreats, and especially because the spa culture that lives at a lot of resorts, it's really great for that. Culinary tours teams up really well with the Globus and the Cosmos and the Colettes and all those. You can get some really great culinary tours with your more European destinations. And not saying that we don't have culinary tours in the United States, but definitely a better accommodation for that. Rachel, I'm an admin of a social Facebook group called the Space Coast Shenanigators. What a great name! That's why I became. Well, one, I wish I was. I mean, I know. I'm assuming that's Space Coast, Florida, um, which I don't live on, but I really love that name. That's a great place to start. So those are people with the interest may just be locality, but they are wanting to travel, they're wanting to go together, and there is a hypeness to a Facebook group that is unmatched anywhere else. I'll just say it. Where are they wanting to travel to, Rachel? What are you talking about? What are you talking to them about? What are you thinking for them? Those are the things to think about. But you again, it actually just leans into passionate travelers who will pay for expertise. Come on, next slide. I need a little bit more water. I'm gonna take a break on that. All right. Cruises, bus tours, honestly, anything. Love. Especially with Florida, cruises are so accessible to you right there. So that's a really easy way to do that. But bus tours, of course. You could also do rail tours. Even if they wanted to stay in the US, you can do national parks. Rocky Mountaineer is a great option. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with those kind of groups. Okay. How to attract the right audiences. Showcase success stories. I know that is not possible when you haven't booked a group yet. I understand. I know this is even more or less possible when you haven't booked anything yet. Don't be discouraged. Give it time. That being said, you can get photos from the supplier partners. And then once you start to just book these trips, you have those photos and then you start to build that. And then once you have your first group, we're going to talk about this later, but you want them to be your little marketers. And that is going to help you build this for them. It's going to build a story for you. It's going to build your audience. You have it share, so then your audience grows. It's going to be a fabulous thing. Offer free consultations. What do I mean by this? Just put out into your socials. I offer group travel planning. If you'd like to book a free consultation, give me a call. It may take weeks for this to take off. It may not take off at all. I'm not saying it will. I'm not guaranteeing it, but odds are it will because people like to suss out ideas, especially around, say that again, are you talking about the group travel planning consultation? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Offer free consultations. So put it on either your social, put it on your website, call for a free group planning consultation. Now, you're not giving away the keys to your kingdom in this 30 minutes. During this time, you're given basics. What I do for you as a group planner, what I can help with, what kind of amenities they can expect depending on the type of group travel they're looking for. Then this is where you suss out a little bit. What kind of group travel are you looking for? You're not searching anything yet. You're not doing any legwork yet. But like, what are you interested in? Is it cruising? Are you trying to do escorted tours? Are you trying to go on an Alaska cruise? What does this look like for you? Roughly how big is your group? How many you think are really serious in your group? Because an important component with group planning is the attrition is massive. If you don't know what I mean by attrition, that is the amount of rooms. So say if you're holding 100 rooms and a hotel has 30% attrition, that means you have to sell 70 of those 100 rooms, or you're going to pay a penalty on every room, or essentially you have to pay for the rooms up to the 70, because after that that's your attrition. So, and a lot of the hotels, and I will tell you, cruise lines will let you hold free space a lot of times, but attrition kicks in early and it kicks in fast. So you have to be mindful of your attrition dates, because sometimes it's only like, oh, you have to get rid of this many rooms if you haven't sold them yet. And that might be 10 of your rooms, not a big deal. Then a couple weeks later, it's like, all right, now your attrition is a higher percentage. You have to have sold this much of your rooms before this date. So you have to get rid of some rooms. And if you don't, they're going to charge you for them. So groups, if you are not well planned, could get very expensive very fast. So I think I talk about some tools to use in the future, but even at the very least, an Excel sheet is your best friend. When are these rooms due? How much is due? But that's why in this first conversation, you're going to say, about how many rooms are you thinking of you need. And when I'm saying rooms, I'm talking collectively. This could be a cruise, it could be anything, but you're about how many rooms or how many travelers do you have? And they say, oh, I have 100. Okay, great. And about how much do you think are really serious about traveling? And they're going to tell you a much higher number than probably actually are serious. I will tell you, Velma Tomlinson, who is a part of our network, she is a force to be reckoned with, and she's done a lot of groups in her day. She will tell people assume to lose 50% of what you hold. And that's an important number to remember because it's very easy to get very excited when you hear somebody coming in saying they have 300 cabins. We just had somebody, and I'm so excited for this member. I don't know if she's on. If she is, she can call herself out. If not, I won't call her out. But we just had a member book a 300 cabin cruise. Like the most exciting thing in the whole world. Cannot be more excited for this individual. But you have, when you're booking that kind of space, one, you have to be sure that these individuals are traveling, make sure it's an established group. She's the one who got you to become a TA. Get out. I love that. I'm assuming Velma. She's fabulous. Unless you're talking about who has this 300 group, also fabulous. But I'm thinking it's Velma. Um, but oh, the 300 group, that's fabulous. Well, she is fabulous also. So I'm so glad you're here. We're so excited for her, Kim. I can't even tell you. She's gonna crush it. She has an established group, so it's not a worry at all. But she's a great example of if she didn't have an established group holding 300 rooms, you would assume you're going to lose 150 of them, which is a very scary thing. Next year, she is doing a charter. I heard rumor of this. Very excited. Where I could not be more excited for this individual. It's going to be incredible. Um, but a lot of work goes into a 300 too. We'll get into that in a second. But I just want to talk about that. So when you're having these free consultations, talk through these moments. What is relevant? What needs to be talked about? What should be talked about? I'm kind of being too vague there, but like, what are the important pieces you need to know on whether you even want to move forward with this individual? Because I can tell you, I had countless people come in thinking they had groups, and I knew almost immediately they didn't. And that doesn't mean I didn't book them, but I can tell you I didn't hold space for them because holding space is a financial commitment that I knew they weren't ready for. And you, as the professional, need to know how to make that distinction. And that's going to take some time and some working it out with different people to be like, oh, they are not ready, or oh, they're a different kind of group. Now, I'm not getting into flex groups tonight, but just offhandedly, you might catch some people that think they're a group and come in, they're actually a flex group. If you're unfamiliar with what a flex group is, it's different supplier partners, not all, will offer the opportunity where you can have like a group code. So they're all staying at the same place. They're not paying the same rate, but they will get the group amenities once they hit a certain amount of people. And that's nice because if they wanted to do, say, like a cocktail party or get, like some extra resort credits, they'll get those things, but it leaves less commitment on you as the advisor to have to be hustling to get deposits in and hustling to get everything in at the same time. It's much more lax. But we're not going to talk flex groups tonight. That's a whole other conversation. But you'll be able to start to suss out whether someone's a real group or a flex group or not a group at all in these consultations. And Speak and Connect. This is another great way to pool audiences. Local Chamber of Commerce's, parent events, local community events. Every year I see a girl show up to our fall festival and she does really well. I can tell because she wouldn't come back if she didn't. Just getting in front of people and talk about what you do. A great way to pool, say, like I've seen people do like Italy nights, and then they pull like a group tour to Italy as an Italian restaurant. Team up with your local restaurant space, put a dinner together, talk to a supplier partner that would be a good one to team up with for that specific Italy tour you're looking for, and sell the crap out of it while they eat dinner. That's a great way to do it. So again, the biggest thing with groups in general, and that's why I really like this quote, is position yourself as a problem solver for the group organizer, not just a booking agent. Because immediately when somebody has a group, they're going to be stressed about what's going to go wrong. That's what you're there for. You're the point of contact. The larger your group gets, too, odds are you're going to travel with them. So you're that problem solver on the ground as well. So having that mindset, you guys hear me. If this is not your first time, you've heard me say preventative maintenance a ton. That is important. That is something to make sure you are saying. So I'm sure that's that you're saying that, but it's important to make sure you are being 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps ahead for these groups because they're going to have issues and you want to make sure that you are getting ahead of what it could be. And don't just wait for inquiries. Go where your ideal groups already gather and become a trusted resource. Okay. Designing irresistible group packages. A great way to do this is have a theme. Themes are not for everybody. I know Joshua, who's the CRO of WorldVia Travel Network, is not a big theme person, which is shocking if you've ever met him. But a theme will pull a group. I told you, Eagles travel, Taylor Swift. I don't care what you want to put on it. Halloween, Summerween. Um, I Listen, I joined 20,000 females in Vegas to go to a Backstreet Boys concert, and I can tell you 100,000 of, or that's exaggeration, about 4,000 of those women go on a cruise ship every year with these bands. There are places and spaces for individuals. You just have to find the place and space for the individuals you want to be working with. So find a good theme and make sure it makes sense. Make sure it has a compelling promise. I know wellness groups are a really great space for that. Say like, it's a place to rejuvenate yourself, refresh yourself, make sure whatever you team into the group goes hand in hand with that. It's very helpful in building your package. Layer pricing options. So, because you are not marketing to one individual, you do want to have price accommodations for whoever is traveling. I know the most appealing thing to put out in marketing for a group is to be like, everyone could go for $9.99. Yes, that is clickbait that gets people to pay attention to you. But the reality is when you're accommodating to large groups of individuals and different people's at different incomes and capabilities, 99 might be way too expensive. 9.99 might be way too expensive for someone. It might be pennies for somebody else. So having tiered options where it's available, and that might be on a group tour, not the same if it's a group cruise, right? A group tour might look like, oh, they might add in some extra excursions. They might do business class tickets, like little things here and there as their add-ins. They might do private tours, private transfers. Whereas if you're looking at a cruise ship, these individuals, and I'm just going off the Norwegian because I was just on it, but they might be staying in the Haven where someone else might just have an outside cabin, right? Having those different options and comparability for individuals is really helpful and will help sell your package better. Exclusive experiences. I dare say if you have a large group larger than 10 people, try to have group experiences, even if it's just one, right? Even if that's just a cocktail party on the first day, or if you're getting into more your river cruises and things like that, and it is getting them all on the same excursion, so they're all going together if it's possible. Again, 300 people on the same excursion is not possible, but you know what I'm saying? Have something that's getting the group together if they want to get together. Now, some groups are not going to want to get together. That's going to be a part of their shtick. That's okay. But try to have exclusive experiences that they could not organize themselves through the supplier partner if they try to. That's the joy of going through you, right? Scott, I'm sorry if you answer this, but and I missed it, but are these slides going to be available afterwards? Scott, if you maybe I'll start posting the presentations in the Facebook group. I had not done that previous, but maybe that's a good idea for this. But you can also email me, laura@worldvia.com, and I can email them over after. But include activities or access that travelers could easily arrange themselves. Get them the private tours at different hotel properties. Yeah, maybe I'll post it in the Facebook group, Michelle. I think that's a good idea. Maybe it's like I said, I raved about my Vienna tour I had, right, where they had like the little heated space where I got to eat the desserts before I went on the Ferris wheel. It was such a nice little touch that I watched everybody freeze out in the cold to wait in line to go on the Ferris wheel, and I didn't have to. It's stuff like that, right? It's like semi-private tours, things like that. It's just, the little things, the little touches are really helpful. Built-in value. Try to incorporate welcome gifts if it's a possibility, hosted dinners, special surprises. It elevates the experience. It makes you look like a professional. It makes you look like a wanted commodity in a sense. Welcome gifts are incredibly easy on cruise ships to do. You can just make sure that they have, strawberries in their room, a case of water, whatever it be. It gets a little bit more difficult when you get into different kinds of experiences. So do your research. This isn't a last minute thing. You should be calling well in advance and seeing what's available to do for your extra commodities for your client. And listen, leverage yourself and what you're bringing in. Hey, I'm bringing 100 rooms. I'm bringing in, and listen, I'm over exaggerating. I'm saying 100 rooms, 50 rooms. That might not be always be your case. Your groups for a while may only be 10 rooms, 20 rooms, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it's still incredibly lucrative. So I want to make that very clear. But still, 20 rooms to a small resort is a big deal. Don't let that discredit yourself. Say, hey, what can you do for my group if they didn't already offer you amenities? Oh, I just want to really quickly that quote in there. Exclusive doesn't necessarily mean expensive either. I see people get nervous when I say exclusive and they think that needs to be cost involved and your clients will think there's cost. That's not true. It just means personalized. It means you put some thought into it. I'm going to use my Eagles thing again. Maybe you make sure they have green hats in their cruise room. You know what I mean? Like the Eagles Kelly Green, whatever it may be. Thinking those little things through. And design packages with profit margins in mind, not just competitive pricing. And I say that because people can get really caught up in wanting to give a lot of the gifts and things, but forget that they have to make a dollar in this as well. So again, making sure you're doing a full breakdown of cost is incredibly important. Logistics that wow. So the smoother the experience, the more referrals you're going to earn, okay? And that's just because the less issues they have or the more accessible you are when there is an issue, that is going to make them want to refer you to someone else. So streamline their onboarding. I am a template girly. Create templates for all their initial emails go out to all the guests that are going to be potentially coming. Make sure everything's detailed out so they don't have to be, again, preventative maintenance. What questions might they ask? Make FAQs for your group. Have a landing page, like a website just for your group. That helps so much. A small page to just build, even if it's just a Facebook group for your group with all the information they might ask will be so helpful because they have a place to go. It's a one source of truth for them. That's really, really helpful. Make sure they understand payments. Make sure they're not confused about it, making sure all that process is in line, whether you're doing a space where they can, I know there's opportunity where you can do group payments through a link. There's a way you can do that, whether you are setting it up through your host agency or whatever it may be, or through the supplier partner, make sure they have understanding of it, make sure that nothing is unclear for them. Nothing will kill a group more than confusion. So make sure everything's clear. Mobile friendly options, if that's available to you, try and use them. Mobile friendly itineraries, some of the itinerary builders out there, I believe Travify and Travel Joy have mobile friendly options. Make sure they have confirmation numbers, emergency contact numbers. I'm a big believer on always going through documentation with your clients. I'm a big believer of doing it in person if it's possible, because you need to highlight what they need to know, because when people are stressed, they can't read. What I would recommend to you and what I always did with my groups is if it was possible to get them in person, I would bring them all together, even if there was a mobile friendly itinerary, I don't care. I'd bring them all together and I would review their trip with them and their documentation with them together, because someone's not going to pay attention and someone needs to be able to help. Can someone please share the Facebook group? Oh, I can throw it in here, Rachel. Absolutely. There you go. Um, Someone's not gonna pay attention, someone's gonna need some help. So make sure you're reviewing it with everybody as a group. If you can't get them in person, do it on a live Zoom call. Zoom calls are free if you keep them under, I think, 45 minutes is what it is. That can be done with documentation. But try Google Meets, whatever it may be, get them together. Group resources. Develop FAQ docs. I already mentioned this above. Packing guides are incredibly important, especially if they're going to a unique destination where they may not know what kind of shoes they have to bring or if they need proper dining attire, things like that. Destination specific information is also incredibly helpful. And try to offer VIP treatment when you can. Have a designated contact person and provide special perks to group organizers who do the heavy lifting. When you have groups, when you're getting into the 10s, the 20s, the 30, I shouldn't say, when I say like multiple 10s. So when you're in the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50 and above amount of people, you want group context within your group that's not just you as well. You almost want remember you would have like line leaders in elementary school. You want that within your own group, because then your line leaders are your point of contact to say, hey, does everybody know in your small group what needs to be known here. And you'll find some of those line leaders naturally because they'll bring themselves out. They'll be the people asking all the questions. They'll be the people that brought the good chunk of the people to the group. So you'll suss them out pretty easily, but have those people and then give them some perk backs. Give them an extra thing in their room. Give them a discount off their next group that they bring in. Give them a discount off their current room for being willing to be a line leader, whatever it may be. You're about to bring in a whole heck of a lot of commission off these individuals. You have the space to treat them well, so try to do so. Oh, no. Doesn't want to flip. Oh, it is not my friend today. This image cracks me up. I just love it. Every group is a gold mine of future business. Leverage one group to make it many groups, okay? These words are impossible for you to see, so this will absolutely go into the Facebook group. Make sure they're capturing content. You're going to know your people. There's always going to be someone that's a social person in every group. Ask them, please take photos. Please tag me in your photos. Please let me know if I can use them for future marketing resources. When you send a welcome home email to everyone, because you always should send your welcome home email, say, if you have any photos or videos, can you please send them to me that I can use for marketing material? But also when they share their content and tag you, it widens your market because then people are going to see your tag. They're going to know that's who booked. Then their odds are they might share it, and that widens your net. You have to continue to widen yourself and put yourself out there more. So the more people that are posting photos and tagging you is incredibly important. Build a hashtag for yourself. I know that feels nerdy and might feel not in place. I promise you it works. Having a hashtag for yourself and a way to be clickable through, people are like, what does that hashtag mean? They're going to look into it further. So it helps with building your network for sure. Create recap campaigns. Send memorable highlights to participants with shareable content for their friends and family. This is a new concept. I really like this idea. This wasn't a thing when I was in the space of booking groups, but you can take, if people are willing to send you their photos, this will take a half an ounce of effort for you. I won't lie to you, but you can collect all their information and build a TikTok or a short video for them, resend it to them of a recap of their trip. They're gonna get such a kick out of that when they send it around to them. It's like, oh, look what was created. Oh, it's such great marketing for you. Yes, it'll take a little bit of effort, but it'll be such a nice little touch that you can add to your trips, and you can use it in your own marketing because you created it and they sent you all the information. So just a way to think of to kind of network yourself a little bit differently. Offer referral incentives. You're about to have 10, 20, 30, 40 new clients. Tell them, hey, you refer someone to me, they book, I'll give you $50 off your next trip. And you're going, oof, that's $50. That's a lot of money for 20 people. But think about how many people those 20 people are going to bring in if they're getting it back to you. Never forget that return on investment for you. And plant seeds for next leaders. Try to identify who your line leaders are. Who are the group organizers? Who seem to have their own little groups within the group? They're your money makers. They're who's going to bring it back next year. And sometimes that person is not the person who brought the group in the first place. That is a misconception that I see a lot of people when they're getting into groups think that they have to keep reaching out to the original group leader. Sometimes that's not the same person. But if you feel there are people making their own little groups within it, or they already come in with their little groups, market to the individual groups. Tools and text to streamline your group travel. Again, you have to be incredibly organized for groups. So make sure you're heavy into your CRM system. You're tracking your group leads. You have heavy communication between the groups you already have. You're building tasks out so you know exactly what you need to be doing because there is a lot of extra steps and due dates and payments required for groups. So make sure you're marking it, whether it's in Trello or something of that nature. But different CRMs, they have all different CRMs. Even our own WorldVia CRM has the capability of creating tasks. Do you use the WorldVia CRM? I do. And I know many individuals in here do. So I would love to hear some of you speak about it. Our CRM system is great for when you're first starting out. Some people do use some other options. You are more than welcome to use whatever you want. But ours is free at WorldVia. But it has the task capability. It has all the capabilities you need to lead a group. There are group booking platforms that I do know help streamline and simplify payments. That is why I list them here. I know TravelJoy and We Travel have those options, so I did list them. Email automation. I took a dramatic pause on purpose. If you are not currently automating your emails to each of your own, I've had whole conversations about this. There's whole trainings about this. That being said, if you have a group, you want to make sure your emails are automated. You want to make sure your payment reminder dates are going out an efficient amount of time. Your reminders about booking dates are going out an efficient amount of time. Making sure that when you need your names, dates, birth dates, that email is going out the right time. And the way to do that quickly and efficiently is by building automated emails that will send to the whole group on the required dates that need to do so. And that is a capability that is built into the Email Plus product that is within WorldVia. If you are not part of WorldVia Travel Network, there are other email automations like your MailChimps, things like that have the same automation. I'm just telling to those that are WorldVia in the moment that is an option on Email Plus. Group communication, facilitate traveler connections and updates. A big way, and I think the most efficient way, a lot of people use Facebook, but WhatsApp is a great way to keep group information to a group going through. A lot of people use WhatsApp. It's free. It's available in every country. You're not going to be stressed about any communication issues. It's great. Facebook groups are a great way to dump the information in for important, relevant information. But for as far as communicating with your group when they are traveling, WhatsApp is the way to go. You don't have to manage everything manually, but the right tech stack will help you create time for high touch service. And that's a big deal. This is just a fun success story. Maria is not a real name. I made up the name, but the story is. Maria approached with a 25-person family reunion spanning 3 generations and with varying budgets and activity preferences. The advisor created tiered accommodation options and keeping everybody at the same resort. It's very easy to do depending on the property, but look into certain ones because they even have different accommodations within the property that accommodate to more high end to low end, depending on what they're looking for. Design mix of group activities and free time with optional excursions. It's a great way with multi-gen because some people, one, may not have the finances yet. They may not have the walking ability. They may not have the interest level. They might have kids that they can't do all the activities. So having some group activities for some for others, and free time for those who don't want it is a great way to build in a group. This advisor provided custom welcome kits with family branded items. There were baby wipes included. There were small toys because there were a lot of children. It was a great way to show that you are listening and understand who the traveler is. Set a private WhatsApp group for easy communication. One booking generated $87,000 in revenue. It led to 2 destination weddings and 3 additional family trips over 18 months. Now, this is not $87,000 in commission. It's important to remember. It's $87,000 in revenue, though, which is nothing to turn your head at. This is just the group I was organized quote. This is not Maria is not their real name. You made our reading completely stress-free. Our family is already talking about making this an annual tradition. Just an example of what it can be and how quickly, where its group seem like a lot of stress, but $87,000 is a really great option. And I'm sure some of you are mathing the math, and I know you are because I love to math the math. And it's not a ton. It's not a high exuberant amount per person, but it's on the higher. There were some children in that space, so different varying rates are involved there. Airfare is included in that revenue, so keep those things in mind when you're trying to think of what that commission was on your own. So build a 30-day action plan if you're thinking of getting into groups. Don't overthink it. Start small. Start now. Week 1, choose a niche. What is your market? Who are you selling to? Who are you going to try to get in? Is it brides? Is it football fans? Is it knitters? You tell me. Find your group. Create marketing assets. This could be a 1-page flyer that you create in the free version of Canva. You don't have to overthink it. If you're not sure where to pool what you would be creating, if you're going to pool a spec group, you can. There are different supplier partners that allow you to pool space more often on cruises than not without any money down. But be careful of attrition rates and because you will owe money very fast and you will be accountable for that money. So don't think you can run away from it or be like, I didn't know. You sign a contract, you'll know. Or a lot of times you can pull group space with a small deposit. Again, that's probably coming out of your pocket. Be mindful of the amount of space you're holding. So I'm always timid on spec groups for that reason. That being said, you can market with a rough idea of cost, right? Rates starting at this rate, right? For this uh Ireland tour in September. I don't know, I'm making it up, right? Put a couple little details on there, put a starting rate, rough idea. Don't include airfare in that rough idea because airfare fluctuates extensively, or you don't have to include a cost at all. Just include details of the tour, beautiful imagery of the tour. Get a flyer together. You don't have to actually print the flyer. I know there's a cost associated with that, but get it onto your social channels, get it onto your website, get it in front of people, print a handful of them, get it to these social groups that you want to be in front of, take it to your local golf course, take it to your hair salon, take it to your local business empowerment group if you have one of those. Ours is called Power Locally. Just getting in front of those spaces, but create something to sell, create some digital imagery that you can share on your socials, and you have something to talk about. And then connect with your potential group leaders, right? Identify your 3 to 5 potential group organizers that could be great for groups in the future. They may not want to book a group immediately. You're having conversations with them. You're planting the seed for later, and then that group will come. And then for design a sample package. Again, you may do that in your marketing assets. You don't have to, but I would have something in the canon for later when you start talking to these group leaders because they're like, all right, what am I kind of looking at here? Do you recommend traveling with the groups? I have someone that asked me about putting together a ladies group, which is great, but not sure I want to be on that group. That is completely at your discretion, Michelle. I will tell you the larger the group, I would recommend it just to be like boots on the ground in a sense. That being said, if you're going to go down that road, make sure you're working your cost into the cost of the members. And I say that with my full chest because you want to be able to cover your cost for travel in order for it to make sense for you to go. If you can't cover your cost of travel and still make a reasonable amount of money for the amount of effort you're putting into it, don't go. Especially if you don't have to go. Now, if there's a Pied Piper rate where it's free or a free room or something like that, where it works out that it's completely accessible, different conversation. You know you're still making that commission. But there's some things to weigh out before you decide whether or not to go, which is one, if it financially makes sense. And then two, just if you want to be a part of that group, because that's a huge piece of it. And then the last piece, though, is I would say once you get above a certain amount of travelers, that's when we're getting into the 50 and above kind of situation. I would say even is probably more accurate because 30 could still be a family. My wedding was 30 people and we didn't need a group leader, right? I had a destination wedding. I didn't lead with that. That's half the reason I got into doing destination weddings. I had my own destination wedding. I got married in the Dominican Republic. So, take that for what it is, but I would say 50 or more just to have somebody to be helpful with it. Camille, I may have missed it. When I propose a trip to a potential group, am I trying to sell an idea like an activity at the destination and then creating an itinerary around them, or am I presenting a general itinerary that I can adjust? Or that, again, this is a choose your own adventure, Camille, is really up to you and the group you're positioning it to. So I would say if you are doing a spec group, like where you don't have a set, they don't know what they want to do. They don't even know if they want to be doing anything yet. I would have a set itinerary because then they have something to buy into, whether that's an activity, whether it's, a group of activities, it's a tour itself, just so they know. If you have a group where they already know they want to travel and they're coming to you, let them build that. You're just building that space around what they want to do. A sample itinerary is to pull interest to you. That's not necessarily always a necessity if you don't have to do that. Carrie, I personally like to go on the first group travel just so I can be there to put out fires. Yeah, listen, and absolutely. My only argument is just make sure it makes sense financially. So you're not burning yourself or putting yourself in a hole to be on that trip. So Camila, if that makes sense, let me know. Chantel, I worked with some family groups and sometimes I become like a mediator getting to family issues. I think that is Very, very possible. That's why if you noticed, I know when I started to say groups, like because families can still be 30, I wouldn't necessarily go on a family trip. You don't need to unless they're your family, but even my family, sometimes I'm not interested. No, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So be careful of that. That'll even happen in regular affinity groups where things will get crazy, so you got to be careful. But yes, absolutely. Carrie, true, my expenses have been paid for, plus I make exactly. That's the thing. So if your expenses are paid in the amount you're making back, done. And listen, that you can be very creative in that, right? And not saying this is not manipulating in any way. If you need to be here to bring that group out, your cost split between 50 rooms is minimal to get you on destination, right? And that is a fee that yes, you're adding in a slight dollar amount to per person trip, but that is for them to have the convenience of you having you in destination if anything goes wrong. And that is a huge, huge benefit having you on property. And it is what most individuals do when they're booking groups. Now, that being said, that large of a group should designate a free room or a free cabin. So it's really not an expense to the group, but just make sure you're mindful of your air, make sure you're mindful of your transfers, anything that may come up, make sure that's worked in. Okay, I actually finished this slide. These were great questions though, guys. And then now I just wanted to actually talk about your goals. This was perfect timing. So what's holding you back from currently doing a group? Right? Is it resources? Do you not have the tools or templates created? You're not sure even where to start with those. Is it confidence? Because I will tell you, you do need to, I just said earlier, like sell it with your whole chest. My daughter asked for shorts when we were going back to school shopping, and they were $30 shorts, but they were buy one, get one free. And she's like, "Can I get these shorts?" And I was like, "You got to say that with your full chest, girl. If you want to buy something, you have to say it. If you want to sell a group, you have to say it with your full chest." I have this incredible itinerary for you here, this is what we have. Here's what's built out. Are you interested? I think I have a great option of as an itinerary for your group. Would this be interesting to you? Things like that. But say it with confidence. And connections. Which group segments do you already have access to? Is there anything that you think you're not utilizing currently that you could be to really be selling groups? I'm trying to figure out, should I do an outright planning fee or just build it into cost? Ooh, I'm running into doing monthly payments for multiple people. I am a believer with groups, you should be charging a planning fee. Hard stop. Period. No explanation needed. You are doing so much work for a group. That is another moment you're saying it with your full chest. When they have that free consultation with you, you sit down and you say, "This is my planning fee. It's $500. It includes this, that, and the other thing. This is the reason why I have it. I am your person for if anything goes wrong. When all 50 of you have a schedule change, I'm the one that's making sure it gets reissued. If a transfer doesn't show up, I'm the person that's calling the travel concierge to make sure it happens for you. I'm calling the supplier partners." Um, I know some people struggle charging service fees for more individual trips. Absolutely not for groups. You are doing so much work and your attention to detail has to be so impeccable. You are earning that extra, and it doesn't have to be a ton. I usually say start at 500 for a group, and the reason behind that is because a lot of group space will have a $500 like they're going to charge a $500 fee if it cancels, so that covers you no matter what. I'd make that fee non-refundable. It's yours. It could be more than 500. I'm just saying that's like a bare minimum. Charge that fee. That's my feelings on that because like you're saying you're running, just think of 10 people, you're running 10 credit cards, 10 schedule changes, 10 transfers, 10 this, 10 reconfirmations, 10 documents you're reviewing. Absolutely not. Charge the fee. I'll never tell you to spend money you shouldn't, but charge the fee. Sandy, my focus are river cruises. I'm having a meet and greet next month. I have the event created on Facebook. If you build it, they'll come, Sandy. I'm telling you, they will. Make sure your friends and family are sharing that information. That is a great idea for river cruises. River cruises are not going away. They're just getting bigger and better. I should have turned, I'm going to turn my light on real quick, guys, so you don't lose me to the darkness. Give me 1 second. All right, 1 second, 1 second. Whoop, I should have done that earlier. Sorry. Um, river cruises are just getting bigger and better, and they're my new favorite thing. And truly, that is a great space. Make sure you're marketing it to the right people in the sense of telling people how to make sure they tell people about it. But that is a great way to get people into river cruising. All right, final takeaways. Let this be the moment you stop waiting and start scaling. Scalable, profitable growth. Group travel can be the most powerful revenue multiplier. When I talk profit margins, this is your profit margin, especially if you're just talking all inclusive cruises. Just by the tenfold of it is going to increase it. But especially when you start to get into free rooms and things, it's just going to get bigger and better. Focus on value and experience. Make sure you're selling what they're going to experience with their family. That's what they're going to do. They're going to make memories. They're going to have a great time. Make sure you lean into that. Systems simplify logistics. Creating repeatable processes will make this all that much easier for you in the future. So whatever your process is, as you start it, write it down. I say this to my team every day, write down your process because then when you have your next group, you are that much more prepared. And turn one trip into many. I said that multiple times, right? A successful group can generate at least 2 to 3 future bookings. So, and hopefully 2 to 3 groups. Kelly, I'm planning the groups. I'm planning the groups trip. So I set the country pre-planned itinerary activity with optional things. So at the moment, it will be only me running everything, still new. But how do I recruit potential group leaders? I would be a mixed group of friends or strangers. We'll start with 10 as a what so your group leaders will come to you naturally. As you start to market this out, the people that show interest to you first, odds are your group leaders, at least to start, at least till you get to know them better. If you aren't starting with individuals you know, you have to kind of suss that out by just seeing who feels right in that moment. I also dare say if you're going to a gym, maybe it might be like the front desk person, it might be the manager, might be your group leader in that space and who they bring on. When you go to a parents group, it might be the head of the PTO. It might be the head of the golf company. It depends on what groups you're kind of going into, but you're going to feel it out by the first couple people that perk interest. Odds are they're going to be your group leaders because they're the person that are activating with you. That's just my personal opinion. It's sometimes finding who your group leaders are takes a minute. It's not always easy. And I think it's important actually with you, as what you just mentioned. Sometimes your runway on groups is long. A quick turnover on getting people in and booking a group, especially when you're just getting started, is an unattainable goal. When you're looking at groups, start building your groups for next year. Start looking at space for next year. Turning around a group in 2025 is going to be difficult, not impossible, difficult. So try looking at those spaces, giving yourself a long runway to find your group leaders, to market yourself, to get it in front of people, to let them get in front of people is very, very important. Am I in Atlanta, Rachel? No, I'm not. I'm actually in Pennsylvania. I do go to the headquarters office in Roswell, Georgia, which is right outside Atlanta often. But I am in Pennsylvania, actually, in the northeast corner. Kelly, what are the incentives for them once I get going? Are you saying the incentives for the group? I just want to clarify that. Sandy, your son lives in Alpharetta. I am falling in love with Alpharetta. I've been eating dinner in Alpharetta often. I'm very much a fan. Kelly, yes, I've started planning my trips for 26, 27. Perfect, 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 perfect. Yes, the group leaders. Okay, so incentives could be varying, right? And it depends on what kind of supplier partner you're working with and what kind of trip you have, right? So one, for starters, your free room you get, like because they're going to get it, say, depending on how many cabins or things, that's a great place to start for your group leaders. Offer them a bigger discount because they're being your group leader. That's an easy thing for you to offer because it's coming to you for free. They don't know it's coming. Many of them don't know it's an option. And it gives you the opportunity to give a discount to someone that's giving you some help, right? That's one option. Another option you can do is the larger the groups that get, sometimes depending on the supplier, they might offer extra amenities to the group as a whole. It might be spa credits, it might be different gifts. You can give that to them. But also it might be because of the amount of commission you're bringing in, maybe you're paying for one of their excursions. Yes, that's going to be $200 out of pocket for you, which feels like in the moment you're like, that's a little steep. When you're getting tens of $1,000s back in a group commission, it's less of a conversation, right? And your group leaders, you shouldn't have a ton of them. You just need one or two, maybe three, depending how large the group is. And then it can change. Then, depending on the supplier partners, they might offer more to group leaders. Like I said, Many tour companies offer Pied Piper rates and they come often. It might be every 10 people or every 8 people, you're getting a free Pied Piper rate. So you can just give that person their trip for free if they brought in 10 people. That's a great incentive for them. Things like that. I'll pay, offer their transfers, upgrade their transfers for free. You can find little things that you can work in that doesn't really hurt you in the long haul. Um, Laura, thank you for this. I feel more confident and dare I say exciting. Oh, good. I hope you enjoyed it. I listen. I feel those of you have to jump. I know I went over. Feel free to go. I appreciate your time. I'm so grateful for all y'all. If you want to stay on, I'll keep answering some questions for a bit. I really love this topic. Groups is something I love. This was actually the last slide, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second. Groups is something I loved. It's something I got into and I really enjoyed, and I felt that I was quite good at because I'm very meticulous for detail. But man, I have some crazy stories to tell if I had more time. And I'm sure many of you will as well. But I hope this was helpful. If not, I'm going to keep going through the questions. Okay, Rachel. Okay. Do you do one-on-one calls? I have some questions and I was hoping you were local. I do one-on-one calls. I do a complimentary one-on-one. I'm always happy to do. I do not have a cost for anything else yet, but I will be honest, we're working on something like that just to be mindful of time. But I'm always at first one-on-one. Absolutely, please reach out to me. This is what I'm here for. And let's be real, I probably do more than one-on-one for more than one-on-one for free. But reach out to me, Laura at worldvia.com. Oh, good. This was so important. I'm so glad. Listen, I'm always trying to be as helpful as I can, and especially on things that I care about. I think this is a really great topic, and it's a really easy way to bring yourself a lot of money back to yourself. Any other questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks? I take them all. I'm gonna pop the Facebook group in one more time. I'm gonna change my habit. I was gonna put it out to the world. Oh, this has been brilliant. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Kelly. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Khalil. Oh my goodness. Thank you, everybody. I listen, I get it, Michelle. So here's something I'm humoring, and I wanted to put it to the room, and I want to put it to those individuals. There's still about a good amount of you left in this room right now. What are your thoughts? I'm humoring putting this live on YouTube instead of Zoom. What are your feelings about that? I'm leaving it to those that are in the room right now. Oh, I already got a thumbs up. I'm humoring that for a few different reasons. Accessibility, great idea. Okay. Accessibility is one. It's a little bit easier to get into for everyone. It's there. My concern is it doesn't alert you. And so I'm humoring ways and we could do that. So I might test this live on YouTube next week rather than Zoom. For those of you that are in the room, I will let everybody know in the Facebook group. And if it works, we'll keep it there. If not, we'll come back this way. But if anyone's opposed to that, let me know. Oh, Aaliyah, you're saying no, it's a good idea. Okay, yes to YouTube. Okay, all right, good to know. I'm glad I tested this. There is still we're 16 minutes over and there's still 30 some people left in this room that can tell me whether that's a good idea or not. So I'd love to hear before I make the official change. Scott, any tips for incentive groups? I also recently connected with the head of alumni. That's a great one, relations, who wants me to begin helping with future alumni trips for 40 people. So incentive groups get a little complicated, Scott. Let me just hold on. Okay, good on YouTube. A lot I like YouTube's. Oh, you prefer Zoom, Camille? I get it. I know it's tough. I'm torn on this because the chat and all the things, but let me know what you're thinking. So incentive groups are difficult, Scott, for one specific reason, not the booking of it for you. And that's actually easy. Where it gets difficult is gauging cost for the individuals that are a part of it. Now, it also depends on how they run their incentive group. The gentleman I was speaking about earlier that runs a group of about 300 people every year to Mexico, his is an incentive group. He loves it. It doesn't take a lot of work because the company that does the incentive just pays whatever the rate is. They don't really care. It gets a little bit more difficult when people try to give away a free trip kind of thing. And it's not a huge group of people because then cost gets weird and it's harder to hold things. But as long as it's a larger incentive group, I think it goes pretty well. And especially because a lot of times incentive groups, there's less qualms about cost. They're more like, yeah, whatever it is, we'll just go with it. Laura, this has been great. My first time joining. Oh, I'm so glad you were here. Listen, Laura, I was happy to have you here. And we'll be met and do groups looking to improve, and you probably had some good ideas. Good. I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm so happy to hear you currently do it. And I brought some good space for you because that's always my goal. Oh, we have a couple prefer Zooms. Okay. Now, I want to be clear. If we do it on YouTube, the recording will still go in the Facebook group. So no one stress about that. It will still live. It can be watched. Will it take away interaction? Michelle, that's my biggest fear. I don't think so. I'm still going to be this version of me and they'll still be able to chat. So I don't think so. I haven't I'm thinking I want to do, I don't know. I don't know. Can I tell you why? There is a tool that has much clearer capability. So this will be much more easier for you guys to digest and it'll be a better product for you guys to take in. And that streams through YouTube. And that's why I'm humoring this more for a better quality where I can actually flip back and forth from the presentation a little bit cleaner so you guys can read the presentation cleaner, but then you can also see me. So that's where I'm here. It's really for a better user experience that I'm humoring kind of going to YouTube. So I'm open to all. I'm not saying I'm making an official change yet. Are you on LinkedIn? They have a good link for video. I am on LinkedIn. It's just Laura DeVeiga. You could find me on there too. Either works for me. I teach classes via Zoom during my 9 to 5, so it's like home. I get that, Scott. YouTube probably will draw a larger audience and has chat as well in the live videos. I know, and it truly isn't even a bit about audience. I get a good amount. I don't need to share numbers, but I get we have a large attendance each week. I'm very thankful and grateful for that. Oh, thank you, Lori. That's very sweet. Um, it's not an audience issue. It's actually more of an audience experience issue. So you just brought up a good point, Shondell, which Zoom provides more privacy and openness. That is my concern. And actually, is my nervousness of going on YouTube. Actually, you may have just reminded me why I don't want to do that because I want to be able to be open with you all and talk commissions and talk things that the general public doesn't need to know. So actually, you just answered my own question for me. I just need to find a better solution to streaming in here. Or I have another idea that I may throw out. I won't do it next week. We're going to keep it in place next week. So the streaming solution I'm looking to use is a company called Riverside, and you can just log into Riverside. So maybe we'll do a Riverside link instead of Zoom. It's just a cleaner interaction, and maybe that's the call, and I can go live on there and record on there. Maybe that's what we're gonna do. Because Shawna, that was a very valid point, and I just don't want to get into anyone knowing things they don't need to know. So yeah, yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate you bringing that back to my attention because that was part of my argument originally, and I forgot about it. Kelly, you could try on YouTube and LinkedIn and see which is a better option. I've heard it's better. I know that's where I am torn. Or GoToWebinar is good. Viator uses. Oh, I didn't realize I used to use GoToWebinar when I first started as a business development manager. Oh, actually, it was national accounts. I used GoToWebinar a ton. If something has built-in transcription, that would be my vote. Oh, good to know, Scott. I think Riverside does. That's the tool I want to use, but that's good to know. Built-in transcription. I'm gonna look and double check tomorrow. Okay, cool. Thank you for all your feedback on that. That was actually incredibly helpful. Does anybody out there have any questions on groups? If not, not a worry. I'm going to let you go because I am 20 minutes over. Thank you all for the interactions tonight. You know how much I enjoy these sessions when you all interact with me. Oh, good. You're leaning towards groups now. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I know I owe some answers to people from last week, not intentional. We had some crazy things happen in the office. You're on my first of my list for the weekend. You can turn on live captions on Zoom. Oh, good to know, man. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, I'm glad I'm so helpful. Live caption. Have a wonderful night, Khalil. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Again, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I will see y'all next week. I cannot wait to see you again. And I don't even know what we're getting into next week. I forgot to look. So it's going to be a surprise to me when I set up the post for the morning. But bye, y'all. Have a wonderful evening. If you have group questions, get out there, start booking groups. Let me know. I'm excited for y'all. I can't wait to see how you're going to do. So happy booking, everybody. I'll see you soon.